Make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
My name is Oren Sofer, and I do a variety of different work. I teach mindfulness meditation in a variety of contexts, and I also teach nonviolent communication here with BayNVC as a collaborative trainer. And I work with people one-on-one doing trauma healing using somatic experiencing.
What comes to mind when you think about empathy?
For me, empathy is a quality of presence in the heart that can be felt, and it's a quality of presence that has a warmth to it. There's a care in it, and a real genuine interest in understanding someone's human experience. And my experience is that being on the receiving end of that, in and of itself, has healing power to it. Just that quality of acceptance and interest in a genuine way. Mm-hmm.
What is the opposite of empathy, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Any of the, there's a whole range, a whole spectrum, but any of the things that I mentioned, like giving advice, trying to solve someone's problem, anything from that to, even sympathy or reassuring. It's sort of like, can seem like empathy, but we're actually trying to change the person's experience to tell them it's going to be okay, to anything on the far end of the extreme, like blaming, judging, lecturing someone, telling them, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Why do you feel that way? Anything that doesn't allow someone to have their experience just exactly as it is would be other than empathy. And if you start paying attention in our culture and conversations, the most frequent common response is going to be one of those: diagnosing, analyzing, judging, criticizing, reassuring, comparing. Yeah. For me, empathy, if I were to relate it to anything, would be like water, which can take any form or shape, depending on the situation. And it's clear, you can see through it, and it's necessary for life. It's life-giving, quenches our thirst. Yeah, and I think that so oftentimes when there's difficulty or pain or conflict or just even internal stress, underneath the specific content of what's happening, there's often just a longing to be understood, a longing to be heard, to be known in our experience. Yeah. Well, I remember before I started studying nonviolent communication, when I was studying meditation in India, I had an experience that was really powerful, that stayed with me, that now looking back I can understand was an experience of empathy. I was in a lot of pain around a relationship, a long-distance relationship that wasn't going the way I was hoping. Hadn't heard from this person, and so I went to see one of the meditation teachers and was just sharing how upset I was and that I was feeling really sad. And he was very present with me and listening. And at a certain point, he leaned forward, and I was saying how much pain that I was hurting a lot. And he just kind of leaned forward and he said, "Where does it hurt?" And and I put my hand here on my heart, and I was like, "Here." And in that moment of his asking and me saying, "Here," I felt the pain. I actually felt it, the aching and the contraction. And there was a little shaking, and I cried a little bit, and then it vanished. It just, released from my body. And I had never sort of experienced that to that point in my life. I was about 19 or 20. And it was just like, in the moment I thought it was something magical. I mean, it is in a way. But I thought it was, this amazing experience of just the pain went away. And looking back, I see and understand it was just his caring, listening presence that allowed me to feel and kind of allow that feeling to come through. Yeah. So there are two things I could say to that. On one level, I could say that empathy feels like a really good hug, or a warm bath, or a cup of hot tea on a cold, foggy day, something like that. It's warming, comforting, like that feeling of being held. And yet on another level, and there's that sense of ease and relaxation that comes with it. On another level, for me, empathy is less of what it feels like and more of the space that allows us to feel something. So, oftentimes we might not recognize how it feels until afterwards, and then we feel some sense of relief and a sense of groundedness and rest. But in the moment of experiencing it, what we experience is whatever we're needing empathy for. The pain, the frustration, the anger, the confusion, consternation, whatever it is. And the empathy is actually just the space. It's just that experience of having the space, being offered the space to have our experience. And that can't be defined so much for me.
In terms of empathy and the positive effects of it, what positive effects come out of experiencing? You've already actually kind of mentioned it a bit, but to kind of expand on the positive.
So, healing, relaxation, ease, self-understanding, a sense of clarity, things that seem confusing, stuck, difficult, unsolvable, suddenly start to become more clear. There's also one of the benefits is a sense of empowerment, because one of the key things about empathy is we're not trying to fix, we're not trying to change, we're not trying to manipulate anything that's going on with the person. It comes from a sense of deep trust in life and a deep trust in a person's own mind, heart, and body's wisdom to unfold and know exactly what's needed in the moment. And so out of that comes a sense of empowerment, that we offer the space for a person to have their experience, and then through that, through allowing their own experience inside themselves, the result I find is often a feeling of one of more groundedness and empowerment. Yeah.